words he speaks are true. We're our humanary stew. We don't pledge allegiance to the Black Widow. The horror that he'll bring, the horror of his sting, the unholiest of kings, the Black Widow.
Hello and welcome to episode 9 of The Spider's Parlor. I am the Spider. Tonight though, Steven is still over in Cybertron. He's just can't get enough of those wacky Decepticons. He goes, met that black arachnid chick and I don't know. Anyway, Steven should be back with us next week. In the meantime, tonight I'm going to do another retro review. This one is one of my all-time personal favorites. Most people may have not heard of this one. It came out in 1989. I remember the first time seeing the trailer for it on the Nightmare on Elm Street 5 Dream Child VHS, and it just stuck with me. And I remember when my parents rented it, we all loved it instantaneously. It was really good. The movie is called Madman. It is the story of a young lady by the name of Virginia who works in a bookstore with a good friend of hers. And her husband, Richard, or not husband, I apologize, her boyfriend, is a detective. Well, she gets fascinated by this author by the name of Malcolm Brand. The first book he wrote was one called Much of Madness, More of Sin. And she was fascinated by that one. He had only written 2 books, that one and another one called Madman. And apparently the idea behind these books is that the reader gets so captivated by it that they are thrust sort of into the novel and begin experiencing these events for real. You know, of course, most people will say, is it all in their head? Are they, just taking their love of these books too far? But nonetheless, Virginia gets really into Much of Madness, More of Sin, and is desperate to find Madman. When it shows up in her life, Malcolm Brand, its author and the killer, begins murdering people all around Virginia, people she knows or people she knows of, all in a attempt to please her. Without going into too much plot, it's a very, very well made movie. In fact, the two main actors, should I say, Richard and Virginia's characters, both Clayton Rohner and Jenny Wright, they are going to be at the Horror Hound Weekend Convention in Ohio, Cincinnati, in November. A convention I plan on going to with its guest of honor, Elvira. Just a little side note to throw out there. But what was really cool about this is that the guy that did the special effects, Randall William Cook, also portrayed Malcolm Brand. Malcolm's gimmick is cutting off the features of different people to reconstruct his face. Very cool. He's a bit, I kind of put him in the Phantom of the Opera vein. He's kind of stylish. He has one really creepy, it's just the way, it's not the line is so creepy, it's the way it's delivered. But at one point, Virginia's in the elevator going down to a floor. The elevator opens and Malcolm is standing there with his black cloak over his, bottom half of his face. And he just stares at her. She's in terror. She backs up against the wall. He comes in the elevator. He goes, going down. And it was just delivered very, very creepy. The ending, without spoiling it, is definitely one of the most unique endings, especially at that time period when we were constantly in the. This was at the tail end of the '80s, which I of course call the decade of the slasher. So we ended, in my opinion, on a high note. Madman is a very, very creepy, effective thriller. And, unfortunately, for special features on the DVD, it's just the original theatrical trailer. But still, it's worth checking out. You can probably find this at Best Buy or stores like that for under $10. It's released through MGM. So my recommendation is hunt this movie down if you can. It's a rarity, but I have to say it's definitely, of the films that did not spawn 20,000 sequels, i.e. Halloween, Friday the 13th, it's probably one of my all-time favorites as a standalone film. It's just that the acting's good, the story's good, the villain is very, very cool. I'm kind of glad they didn't do a sequel, just because it's bookended, no pun intended, from beginning to end. It's over. I will say this: if they did make a sequel, definitely you need to make sure that they get everyone back. But it's been 20 years. This is, in fact, the 20th anniversary of this movie, so I doubt by now that they're going to do one. Well, I will say this: I will need to do another retro review. I apologize for the lateness that this one took, because usually I would already had it done, filmed on Friday, made by Sunday, and posted online. A lot has been happening lately with my life and everything. All good, don't worry, for the most part. So I will keep you all posted. I think I will do another retro review though this weekend, and then we'll try to do. And of course, if there's any movies you all think that I might have amongst my collection, or something you think I would be interested in trying to review, let me know. Otherwise, I'll lose yourself in a good book permanently.